soul has got to move. My soul has got to move. Ooh, my soul has got to move. There's a leak in this old building, y'all, and my soul has got to move. I've got another building, a building got made. This old building keeps on leaning, y'all, and my soul has got to move. My soul has got to move. My soul has got to move. This old building keeps on
Hello. Welcome to another episode of Distance Traumas. I'm your host, Lisa Styles. I hope you all had an amazing week. If not, I hope this week gets better for you. If you haven't prayed, try praying. Prayer does changes things. So let's get into today's episode. We're going to talk about rug sweepers. Do you know anyone who's like that? Or are you in a family who operates in that way? Well, I'm kind of convinced that people born in the late 40s or even the early 40s, 50s, or 60s were taught how to be rug sweepers. If you don't know what I mean by rug sweepers, well, I'm talking about someone who never addresses a situation. They're more willing to ignore a situation rather than talking about it or trying to fix the situation. So that's why I call them rug sweepers, because they tend to just sweep it under the rug and move on like nothing never happened. And the first thing they said, well, let's move past it. Let's move forward. How can you move forward with someone if there's an underlying issue? And especially if you're telling that someone how a situation made you feel, but yet they ignore your feelings, they ignore everything that you're saying to them, and they just want to sweep it under the rug and move on. You can't move forward that way. I don't think you can. I really don't. And I say that far as the age is because my mother and my father was born in the 50s. And of course, my family members, my older family member was born in the 40s and 50s and 60s. And they all sweep stuff under the rug, especially on my mother's side of the family. And I kind of give them the benefit of the doubt in some way, shape, and form, because they dealt with a real tragic situation as children. See, a lot of you grew up with grandparents. I didn't have that privilege to grow up with grandparents. Neither one of my grandparents. All my grandparents are deceased. And I never met my mother's mother. I only seen one picture of her. All I was told of her, she had the most prettiest gold tooth you ever wanted to see. And she was a Cherokee Indian. She had beautiful gray long hair that she kept in 2 to 4 plaits. And she was real pretty from the picture that I saw. But my grandfather shot my grandmother with a shotgun close range in front of my mother and one of my aunts when they was roughly around 12 years old. And I finally got more bits and pieces of the story not too long ago that he came in drunk one night and they got into it, and he came in the kitchen where my grandmother was at with my mother and one of her sisters, one of my aunts, and with the gun, and pointed it at my grandmother. And my grandmother told him to drop the gun, and she put my mom and aunt behind her to shield them. and demanded that he put the gun down, and their other siblings were in another room in the house. And instead of him putting the gun down and walking away, he shot her. He shot her. And from what I was told, my mother and my aunt was hovering over top of her, and the other siblings ran out the room, came in the kitchen, and he pointed the gun at them and told them they better not say anything. And he dropped the gun and ran. But he did get arrested, and he served, I can't remember how many years he served in prison. And he died a few years after he got out of prison, but he got out, he remarried, adopted another son. Some of the family members didn't have anything to do with him. Maybe 2 out of all the brothers and sisters had a relationship with him. My mom, she was one of the ones that didn't have a relationship with him. She didn't talk to him. I only met my grandfather maybe once or twice. I couldn't tell you what he looks like. I don't remember what he looks like. I couldn't tell you anything about him other than this story that I have. And they swept that under the rug. They don't talk about it. If you bring it up, they don't talk about it. They shun it off. So it's like that situation, and also how they was brung up from my aunts, it taught them how to sweep stuff under the rug and move on. And with this situation for them, I kind of understand, because that was very dramatic. Your father shot your mother, and then pointed a gun at you, and and he served his time in prison, and then when he gets out, he remarries, adopts another child, and goes on and creates this other life. And no one around him knew about what happened was his new wife. She knew. And they shielded from the adopted son so bad to the point where they didn't allow him to breathe. He'd go to the bathroom. The wife was right under him. He couldn't talk to anyone. I mean, no one. No one in the church knew. I mean, no one knew of this past life. No one knew he had other kids. Even his wife didn't know he had other children, but the ones that he was talking to, because they live right in the area where he lived at. I mean, one of his sons literally lived right across the street. So I understand why that situation could be really hard for them. And then, as I stated, the upbringing that they had from my other aunts, they didn't really teach them anything. So it grounded them to sweep things under the rug. But it created a bigger problem within the generation, because they passed it down to their kids. Because we saw them brush everything under the rug. They taught us to brush everything under the rug, because every time a situation happened in a family, they just brushed it under the rug. They didn't want to address it. They didn't want to communicate about it. They didn't want to do anything but just move on and move forward. And even as a little child growing up, I didn't like that, because that caused me to hold in a lot of pain that I was going through, and it only built up. So here I am at age 44, trying to repair and fix the 6-year-old me. I'm 44, trying to repair the 6-year-old me. And a lot of that has to do with sweeping things under the rug, giving people the benefit of the doubt, and moving on like nothing never happened. That caused a lot of my mental health issues, because I didn't have a place to deal with any of my trauma. All I had was this imaginary rug. That's not good. So that's why I asked the question, do you know anyone, or are you in a family that deals with the same situation? And what are your thoughts? Because I don't think it's good. I dealt with so-called friends, more like acquaintances now that I sit back and I think about it. They like to brush everything under the rug because they don't like conflict. They call it, I don't like drama. I don't like all that. That's the first thing they say. That's how people label it. And I'm going to put that in quotations, the word drama. Because they don't like confrontation. No, it's not that you don't like confrontation. And it's not that you don't like drama. You just don't like addressing stuff. Because when you address stuff, that makes you have to open up and explore your feelings and explore other people's feelings, and you don't like that, and you don't like being put on the front street about your bullshit. A lot of people don't like confronting their bullshit. A lot of people don't like criticism. They don't like that, so they label it as they don't like drama, in quotations. They don't like confrontation, in quotations. But in life, as humans, criticism can help. Sometimes that criticism can mold you into a better person, mold you into a better mother, brother, father, sister, uncle, aunt, niece, nephew, friend, acquaintance, lover, whatever you want to label yourself as. Talking about a situation can also build and grow and make a bond stronger between two people by communicating, by talking. It's not bad. It's not hard. Sometimes it's okay to agree to disagree. You don't always have to agree with someone. And they label that as, oh, you're mad just because you disagree. No, I have a different opinion of your opinion. And you know what they say, everybody has an opinion. Opinions is like buttholes. Everybody has one. And it's okay to have your own opinion. It's okay to feel a different way from me. It's okay. I'm not going to love you less, just depending on what we're talking about now. Depending. I'm not going to agree with you as far as rape or anything like that, going out killing people, blah, blah, blah. That type of stuff, I'm not going to agree with you, and we're going to have we may have to part ways. But on something simple, no. It's okay if you disagree with me. But if you do something to me and and I'm telling you that it bothers me, it affects my feelings, and I'm bringing it to you, talking to you about it so we can fix it, so we can move on, and you just shun it, now we have a problem. I've done that half my life, sweeping stuff under the rug and moving forward. But at whose expense? At the expense of my feelings. Because now I have to put my feelings in the back burner and move on with you. And we still have an underlying issue. And that's not good. That's not good for me. That's not good for my mental. That's not good for my inner peace. So sweeping stuff under the rug, I don't like it. It grinds my gears. It's okay, if that person said, give me time, get my thoughts together, and then let's come back and sit down and converse. That's okay too, because sometimes people need time. Because I'm like that, especially when I'm mad. I don't want to talk to you while I'm mad because I have no filter. Some things is going to come out, and once it come out off the lips, you can't take it back. So let me get in a better headspace, and then we come and we converse. I'm not going to leave you high and dry. I'm not going to dismiss your feelings. Let me cool down so I can get a better understanding. So not only am I listening to you, I'm hearing you. And then I can address you better. And that's all it takes. That's all it takes. But people make things more difficult than what it needs to be. We can get ahead in life faster. Well, I ain't going to necessarily say faster, but better. With just a little bit of communication. Just a little bit of communication. And talking about my mental, when I was younger, I was touched by a family member. They swept that under the rug. But I got blamed for it. But they swept it under the rug. And right till this day, no one has said anything. No one has addressed it. Not one person has said or asked, Lisa, are you okay? Not one. But they blame me for it. But they didn't blame the toucher. No, they didn't blame the toucher. They just took that situation and swept it under the rug. Here I am, a little girl. All I wanted to do was play with my cousins. I'm the baby of the family. It's a bunch of boys. I had older female cousins, but they was older and they was in the street, busting it wide open with other family members. I just wanted to play. So I grew up as a tomboy. So I played football. I beat up my cousins for my brother because my brother was a punk. So I used to beat up my boy cousins. Used to tear their ass up. I wanted to play basketball. I wanted to play football. I wanted to shoot the BB gun. I just wanted to play. I didn't care what we was doing. I just wanted to play. So that's what I did. I played with the boys and I was a tomboy. The cousin that touched me, he actually taught me how to carry a blade in my mouth for protection. Because where we grew up, you had to protect yourself. They taught me how to fight. My nickname was Fighter. So I learned a lot by hanging out with the boys. But also, it was at a price by hanging out with the boys. Not all the boys, some of the boys. It was a little touchy. The adults swept it under the rug. No one took me to the side and talked to me. No one took me to the side to ask me if I was okay. To explain to me what happened. Just to ask if I was okay. No one. They just swept it under the imaginary rug and we move forward. So I had to continue to deal with my toucher. I had to continue to deal with him. I had to continue to be around him. We didn't play anymore with each other because at that point he couldn't stand me no more. Even his mama had an attitude with me and I didn't understand. I just knew she didn't like me. But I loved her and I loved him. And we swept it under the rug. I was taught at a young age to sweep something so devastating under the rug and not speak on it. So I had to walk around my whole life with that in my mind, body, heart, and soul. So once again, here I am at 44. Trying to clean up the 6-year-old me. We're trying to fix the 6-year-old broken me. Because of something that could possibly have been talked about, understood more, and nourished. Not saying that the thought still wouldn't have been there, but it might not would have been as painful, I should say. So it only takes 1.5 seconds to care. It's not enough caring in the world. It's not enough caring in the world. People should care more. It'd be less violence in the world if people just took 1.5 seconds to care. It's not hard. It's not going to kill you. It's not. But sweeping stuff under the rug, it can kill you because it can cause stress. And stress is a deadly killer. It's quiet. It's like a ninja. People don't think stress can kill, but it can. It kills you internally. It shows sometimes on some people on the outside. It drains you. It drains you. But sweeping things under the rug without addressing them is not a good thing. It only creates more friction on top of the friction that already was there. My family's rug is higher than Mount Everest at this point. With all that rug sweeping, I know it has to be high. They talk about each other. They got these secret threads. Talk about each other. I mean, my dad's family is the same way. I ain't gonna forget about them. They like to sweep stuff under the rug, things that has happened, things that has been said. They don't address shit. They don't talk about shit but each other. That's it. And in some way though, I blame my dad because you're the father of us. You're the protector of us. I know they're your sisters. I get it. I understand. But they are not angels. They have done stuff to me. I had one aunt. I was little. She was giving me a bath. And we had a kerosene stove close to where I was getting a bath. Now don't frown your face up. I ain't the only one where a family had a kerosene stove in the house. Shit, we was warm. But she took me by both my arms and pushed me up against that kerosene stove and burnt my butt. I still have the marks, like you could still see that something happened, but you wouldn't know. It's just like it's dark in that area on my butt. Ask her why she did it. She was evil. She used to scare us, hide up in the attic, jump out and scare us. She was dark. She had a dark soul. But guess what? Nobody talked about that. To this day, nobody talk about it. Nobody addresses it. She even pulled out my hair. Nope, that was my other aunt that was braiding my hair. I had long black hair. She braided my hair so tight, she braided my brain. When my mama took my braids out, my hair was falling out. My mom addressed it. It was never talked about. They swept it under the rug. My aunt never apologized. Nothing. Nothing. My other aunt used to abuse her daughter. Used to beat the shit out of her daughter. All because she wanted a son. Nobody never talked about it. Nobody never addressed it. They made us amongst each other like Mormons. But she used to abuse the shit out of her daughter. And I used to see it because she used to babysit us. I ain't like going over there. I hated going over there. I wish my mama left me at home by myself. Because she was evil. And she used to beat the dog snot out of her daughter. I mean, hell. When my other aunt used to go to work, they used to tie her son up in a chair because he was bad. Because they didn't want to deal with him. So they would tie him up in a chair all day and let him sit in a chair and piss on himself. I know, I used to see it. They think that I don't remember. But I tell you what, I remember one time me and my husband, we was in Las Vegas for my birthday. And we went and I got some edibles. And baby, let me tell you something. I don't know what the hell was in them edibles. But don't judge me, judge your mama now. And that edible made me feel like I was on this time machine. And I seen stuff flashing before my eyes. Stuff that I literally put in a box and hid it. Guess what? That's just the invisible rug. And it was piled under piles and piles and piles and piles and piles and piles of shit. And when I woke up the next morning, I started telling my husband all the stuff that I remember. And it was stuff that I did not want to remember. Stuff that was piled on top of stuff that was on top of stuff that was on top of stuff. Stuff that was swept under the rug. That was never addressed. And a lot of it stemmed from the side of my dad's family. My grandmother used to burn me and my brother with cigarettes. And she was a Sunday school teacher. Talk about secrets, right? Told my mom about it. I don't even know if it was addressed. Because, my mom used to get fussing and fighting with my dad's sisters all the time. So I don't even know if an argument may have happened. I don't know, because I was so used to a rah, 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 rah going on around. Maybe that's why they don't have nothing to do with me and my brother, because of my mom. I don't know. But that shit ain't got nothing to do with me. I ain't her. I ain't asked to be here. Hell, I came out my dad's ball sack. Shit, blame him. He the one had sex with her. But that still ain't a reason for y'all to mistreat us. Well, excuse me, for them to mistreat us. But if you're listening, your ass use y'all to mistreat us. And then sweep it under the rug like you ain't never done nothing, like you Miss Goody Two Shoes. I talked about in my last podcast how I stayed at a couple of my aunt's house for the summer and I was mistreated. Swept it under the rug like it never happened. It was never talked about. It was never addressed. No one never came back and said, oh, you know what? I apologize to you for whatever pain that may have caused, if any. So that's why I stay away. I don't stay away because I think I'm better than anybody or whatever. I never thought that I was better than anybody. I just know I wasn't basic. But that's why I stay away. Yeah. Because for one, I'm tired of all the rug sweeping. I'm just tired of it. Because my feelings is valid. My feelings is worth examining. And yours is too. And if someone make you feel like they're not, fuck them. Forgive them and fuck them. You can forgive them. You can speak to them if you see them, be cordial. But it don't mean you got to deal with them. That does not mean that they still can have access to you. Access is in capital letters. That doesn't mean that they still can have that just because you forgave them. I forgive everybody in my family. Even the ones that caused me this pain. I forgive them. I still love them. Don't wish them no harm. I pray for everybody in my family and my enemies. And that's the honest to God truth. I pray for everybody. So while I'm over here praying for you, you're wishing harm on me. We're not the same. And it's okay. But I don't hate none of my family members. I don't hate them. I just don't deal with them. Because I see you for who you are. And if you don't like me, that's fine. Feeling is mutual. If I'm a monster in your story, guess what? You a bitch in mine. So we even. It's good. It's okay. We can agree to disagree, and it's okay. And I ain't mad at you. I just appreciate you showing me who you were. And it's okay. But that's sad to be born in two families that does the same thing, and they don't realize what they're doing. And then they sit back and wonder, oh, why she's acting this way? Why she's acting that way? Why she do this and why she do that? Well, this is why, motherfucker. Y'all created this, but I'm here to break it. If I have to be the generational curse breaker, then guess what? Let me go ahead and tie these boots up, because I'm tired of doing that. I'm tired of doing it. And if that means that I don't have a relationship with nobody in my family, okay, cool. Because when I die, I don't want no funeral anyway. I don't want to be buried. I want to be cremated. And I just want my husband, and if my dad is still living, and my dogs. And fish, if we have fish, dress them up too. Shit. Told my husband, get a SpongeBob urn, put me in it, put me a little bit of my ashes in a necklace so I can continue to travel with you around the world. Because that's our thing, we travel. And that's it. That's it and that's all. But I'm not going to continue to set my feelings to the side and brush them under this imaginary rug just because you claim you don't like confrontation, in quotations, and you don't like drama, in quotations. I cannot stand a person that doesn't take acknowledgement of their doings. I cannot stand that. At least acknowledge. Acknowledge it. Take full responsibility of your doings, of your actions. Just do it. But you want to say you're grown. How you grown and you can't even sit down and have an adult conversation? How? How are you grown and I'm telling you that you've done something or said something that hurt me or affected my feelings, and you won't even at least acknowledge what you did or what you said and apologize so we can move forward if we can. And even if we can't, at least we both know where we stand. You said what you said, I said what I said, we both apologized and we moved on. That's called moving on. That's called growing. That's called being an adult. That's what that's called. But instead, you choose to ignore it. My mom, she's good for that. She's good for that. My mom has abused me mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, financially, all the leaves. She has abused me. All of them. All the LY. She has abused me. And all she wants to do is sweep it under the rug and move forward. Let's move on from it. Why are you still talking about it? Because it bothers me, heifer. That's why. It affects me. That's why. And I can't move forward until we address it. That's why. And as you being my mother, you should want to fix it and address it too. Because for one, you know how it feels to not to address something. You carry that pain around with you every day. And you should not want your daughter growing up like you. But instead, you made me worse. Instead, you made me worse. And you know, people say, oh, that's your mother. That's your only mother. She only raised you how she knew how. Yes, I gave her the benefit of the doubt in that area too. But guess what? You do not have to be the product of your environment. Just because you was brung up a certain way does not mean you have to act like that and do as such. You should want better and do better. So yeah. So I only give you the benefit of the doubt a little bit in that area. That's a great area. Because I was brung up in a dysfunctional household, but I knew at a young age I didn't want to bring my kids up that way. And I always promised myself that I didn't want to be like my mother. I didn't want to be like my mother. And I tried my hardest not to be like my mother, but in some areas I was my mother, because I used to yell and scream when I was mad at my son. I used to use him as a container for my rage at some point in time. My son didn't start getting beatings until he was 15. When he wanted to try to hang out in the street with his little friends and climb on top of the funeral home buildings and smoke weed and all that shit. That's not the type of parent I was, so you're not about to do that. But he didn't get beatings like that. He got reprimanded when needed such. But I always told myself I didn't want to be like that. And I would sit my son down and we would talk. Like, express your feelings. Tell me how you feel. What's up? Don't hide your feelings from me. Because if you can't come talk to your own mama, who you going to talk to? You going to talk to somebody in the street. So I'd rather for you to talk to me and get the real deal, holy feel from me than somebody out in the street. So I used to keep it a buck with my son. I ain't hide nothing from my son. Nothing. I had an open dialogue with him. And that's how it should be. To a degree. But I made that promise. And, you know, the devil didn't like that promise. So he did what he did. But you'll hear about that story throughout my episodes. But again, my mother made me worse than her. As far as mentally, my mental health. Yeah. All from sweeping things under the rug. When some things could have just been easily addressed, easily talked about. Yeah. Even the time that a situation happened to me, and I'm going to talk about that in my next episode. It was never addressed. It was never talked about. Till this day. And that's the one thing in my life. Well, I ain't going to say the one thing, but that's the first thing in my life that almost took me out. And it's never been addressed. It just got swept under the rug with the rest of that bullshit. Yeah. And that's hurtful. That's painful. But I refuse to allow anyone to do that to me. I don't care what you are to me. Friend, cousin, uncle, brother, father, mother, son, husband, niece, nephew. I don't care who you are. Acquaintance, co-worker. I don't care who you are. We're not sweeping anything under the rug. We're going to talk about it. We're going to have an adult conversation. We're going to talk about it. And I'd rather for you to do that to me. If I've done something to you, said something to you, and it made you feel some type of way, come to me, tell me. So I can fix it so I don't redo it again. Because if you don't let someone know what they're doing, they're going to keep on doing it. And some people do things and they don't even realize that they're doing it. And that's okay. We're humans. We're not robots. So please tell me, say, hey, Lisa, you said this or you did this and it rubbed me the wrong way, and I'm apologize to you, especially if it's something that I did on my end that really offended you. But if it's something that needed to be said or needed to be done, we're going to talk about it. We are going to talk about it. It's not going to go unnoticed. So that's where we may agree to disagree. But I'm not going to ignore how you feel. Just like my cousin now. He's sitting in prison. The one that said he wanted to eat a donut out my ass. He wants to have a full-blown relationship with me. He jerked off at my pictures, and I'm just trying to send you pictures to make you feel like, to keep you in the loop with the family, you jerking off at my pictures. And he kept bringing it up. And I told him, I said, I can't take it no more. Please stop telling me. It's not like I can break into prison and take my pictures back. It is what it is. But stop telling me that you're jerking off at my pictures. It's not making me feel good. And the fact of the matter is, this was a person that was there from the beginning. Hell, his little brother is the one that started touching me first. Well, I'm going to say the first memory that I have. So you've been there. You know what I'm already trying to repair from my childhood. And this is the thanks that you give by me supporting you for 25 years while you've been in prison doing a 71-year bid for murder, rape, and robbery. And you was the driver, the getaway driver. Yeah. And I gave him the benefit of the doubt when he told me he jerked off in my pictures. And I told him, I said, I understand, I get it. It doesn't make me feel good because we cousins. I said, but you are in prison. You're not a fudge packer. You haven't had sex with any men. You just had sex with the women COs. So you don't want it. You're not a fudge packer. So I understand, you've been in prison. I'm a woman, So I gave him the benefit of the doubt in that aspect. I got it. I understood. But when I went to him and I told him, I wasn't mad or angry. I wasn't disrespectful. I just say, hey, I'm going to need you to stop telling me that you're jerking off at my pictures. It's not making me feel good for my mental. He tried to lay me out and keyword try this shit, whatever. Call me a bitch, blah, blah, blah. So moving forward, fuck you. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to have nothing else to do with you. Leave me alone. He's writing letters, calling me, telling me he's never going to let me go. He's going to fight for us. He's going to do whatever he has to do. He's been disrespectful to my husband. He's been calling me. He said even in death, he's not going to leave me alone. He's going to do a ritual so he can be with me on the other side when he died. What the fuck? He's even threatened me. So you doing all this because I set a boundary for something that you did and something how you made me feel. Now I'm a bitch. I'm this. I'm that. You threatening my life. You threatening my husband's life. You threatening to be with me as a ghost in the afterlife. You want to be Casper. I'm a horrible person. I'm mean. I'm hateful. He wrote a 4-page letter about how horrible I am. I used him while he's in prison just because I wanted a pen pal. He's talked about my mental health. I mean, everything. All because I set that boundary and I addressed a situation because we both was taught how to sweep things under the rug. And his little slimy, slithery ass sat back and he was evaluating me all this time of how I used to, because I don't do that no more, let stuff, I swept it under the imaginary rug. Because once again, we was taught that way. So he knows. He knows how this thing go. He knows what we do. And I swept the jerking under that rug until it got too much, until I couldn't, I don't want to keep hearing that shit. Now look at where we are. I don't care. I don't care what you say, how you feel, what you do. And I damn sure don't care what you say about me. Because ain't nothing you can throw up in my face about my past is going to make me feel some type of way. I mean, hell, I'm sitting here telling all my business on a podcast. And plus, I done already been through it. So you can't take me back through something that I done already been through and got through it. And I'm here on the other side. And you ain't going to make me feel bad for creating a boundary for myself because of something you said or you done and how you made me feel. But now you want to try to manipulate me, gaslight me and all that, be a narcissist because of something you said. Not only that, I was on this boy's home plan to where if he got out of prison, because he's up for parole, he would have got out and he would have been in my house. So only two things would have happened. He would have tried to play on those feelings he had and he would have slid his ass in here and tried to rape me. Either he would have killed me or I would have killed him. So I thank God for discernment and I thank God for giving him the mouth of God because he told on himself. So I thank God for that. The devil always reveals himself. So what the devil has been putting out to break me, it woke me the fuck up. It woke me up. Okay? So when I say I will not sweep anything else under the rug, I ain't sweeping shit, not even a hairball. We're addressing this and we're addressing this now, and there's no more filter. I'm not giving you no more benefit of doubt. I'm not letting you slide. None of that. We ain't doing electric slide no more. We're going to address this head on, full circle. And after the conversation, if you don't like me, you ain't got to like me. You ain't got to love me, but you will respect me. You will respect me. And I will respect you, and we keep it cordial, and we move on with our little happy own little lives. And it's okay. So that's why I say, do you know anyone, or are you dealing with this situation within your family with friends and family or co-workers or whatever the case may be in your life with rug sweepers? Because having rug sweepers, it just causes more friction. It creates more friction on top of the friction that was already there. Friction. And at some point, we got to take control over our lives. And we got to take control over how we allow people to treat us. So, are you ready to take control over your life? I ask the question. I am. And I'm doing it, and I did it. And I'm glad that I am. It feels good. It feels good. It's like I feel lighter. Yeah. So, do you want to feel lighter? Do the work. Do the work. But on that note, that's all I have for this episode. Next episode, we're going to be talking about the thing that almost took me away. But after each episode, I'll always give my email information in case you want to leave a positive message, positive comment. You want to tell your story. You just want to say hi. Or you want to talk about something. That contact information is distant traumas with the S podcast at gmail.com. Again, that's distant traumas with the S podcast at gmail.com. And after every episode, I always end in a Bible scripture. This week is Proverbs 1-25. You ignore all my advice. You do not want me to warn you. Until next time, be safe, be blessed, and remember to pray, because God loves you and so do I.
Another year.
Bye.
I may be dead and gone, but before I go, I want to let you know I'll be living in my brand new home. This old building keeps on sinking, y'all, and my soul has got to move. I'm just moving a little closer to home. When you see me praising the Lord, y'all, I'm just moving closer to my heavenly home.